Hello, and thank you so much for being here with me today. You are watching the Intervene Show, and I am Arlena Jones. I have three very special guests here with me. To my immediate right, I have Mr. Paul, and then to my left, I have Kristen, and to my far left, I have Rachel. And what we're going to discuss today is art. I actually think I'm going to start with you, Paul, and let you kind of introduce art and what it is that we are looking at, and we can kind of talk about some of your artwork.
Okay. Well, art to me started 30 years ago as a hobby, and I got into it and basically wanted to play around and do the backdrops on a model railroad set, and got it going, and pretty soon I realized I wasn't doing anything with the railroad anymore. I was just painting, and I could get into it and disappear. I was gone. Whatever was going on with me that day was gone, and that was so relaxing. And so that was 30 years ago, and now I've probably been teaching about 23 years now, and I want to pass that on to other people because it's so relaxing, and your problems, you can get rid of them. Whatever's behind you that day or the year, they're gone. You can get right into it and really enjoy yourself and take yourself and create something of difference. It may be something, I always tell people, I like to take the ordinary and turn it into something beautiful. Okay. But if you really look at it, it's already beautiful. All I'm doing is recording it and putting it into that type of thing. And because I enjoy that so much, I'd like to pass that on to somebody else and help somebody else in the same way it has helped me through my life. It's really, get into it. I have not been formally education. I don't have a degree in art, but I have gone to workshops. I got one that it's been 23 years I've been going to that one. That's a 5-day workshop up north, and it really is today it's more of a retreat for me than it is a workshop to go to, but we really enjoy that, and I've gone to other workshops and learned from other artists, and of course my son went to Western and ended up with a fine arts degree in oil painting and photography, and consequently I tell people I got 2 degrees for the price of one. Because he was still living at home, and he brought all his stuff home, and I just ate it up as well. So it's not like I don't have that knowledge. I can just about do everything but watercolor, and I just probably could teach watercolor as well if I'd work at it some more, but I don't have the experience to tell you how to fix it. I can tell you what's wrong with your piece, but I can't say, well, you do this and this will be fine. No, I can't do that. But with oil, acrylic, pastels, drawing, I can instruct you to do and get something that you want. And that's what in my classes, I always try to make sure it's the artist that is making its mind up if the piece is done or not. I'll never tell an artist that it's done. I'll tell them it's not done yet, so they keep going. But it's up to the art to say, I think this is done. You're happy with it? You're happy with it, that's fine. I may not think you should be done yet, but if I can't get you to do something more, that's fine. Because the artist rules. It's their class, it's not my class. And that's the way I like to teach. That the students are always the boss. The only rule I have in my class is, and I always say this is rule number 1, you never wear good clothes to art class. Okay. And you don't break it. Especially the kids, that's the day they're going to get paint all over their best shirt, and mom's going to be mad at me. I don't want that. So we have a good time. We get with our kids. I teach from age 10 up through, I think my oldest student was 92. Wow. So under 10, it's a whole different way of teaching than I do, and they also under 10 have don't have the ability to concentrate for 2 hours. The classes are 2 hours long. So that's kind of down the road that they can't, I'm too old to teach youngsters, I guess. We are looking for somebody to teach the youngsters that could come in and do a class, because we do have people that keep asking to bring their kids in, and I said, no, I can't teach them. Yeah. We have also another instructor now, and but she does watercolor and all the other arts as well. And her classes are on Tuesday and mine's on Wednesday.
And where are you located
Okay,
at?
we're located at 111 South Kalamazoo in Paw Paw.
Okay.
Yeah, so at main four corners, go half a block south, and we're on the east side, right next to the old Carnegie Library. And that is, we have a small 800 square foot gallery in there for our members. The Southwest Michigan Artists Association was created, it's almost been a little over 30 years now, as Paw Paw Art Association. 7 years ago, the members decided they wanted to do a little more for the artists, rather than just, before we would have a show and we're more social, and it was just a bunch of artists getting together, and we didn't try to promote ourselves, really. Well, some of us wanted to do more, so we got a 501c3, there we go, which makes us a little more stable.
Okay.
Because we had to set up a board, we had to do a lot of other things to get it rolling, and now we do a lot of different things in the village of Paw Paw, but it doesn't have to be in the village of Paw Paw, because now our name has changed to Southwest Michigan Artists Association, and now we include anything Southwest. And how many different businesses claim to be Southwest and they're in Michigan, or clear over in Comstock or something. So that's where we're at, and we're building and moving along. We do have an upcoming auction and dinner that we're going to have come up on the 20th of October here. Tickets are $25, and you can go to our website and purchase those, and you get your tickets and pick them up at the door. And they're $25 a piece. That's a full meal, and then we have live auction and a silent auction. They told me they have $11,500 worth of merchandise in the live auction alone to sell off. So it should be some really nice stuff to come up. I know in the past we've had weekends at Lake Michigan that's gone out. We've had art books that are no longer available that has been given away. We also will have some very nice door prizes, and 2 of those door prizes are worth $150 a piece for our class. So there's a door prize there for Tuesday and a door prize for Wednesday. So it's a lot of fun. Live music during dinner, and it will be put on. The dinner is catered by Premier Catering out of Paw Paw, and they really do a nice job of taking care of their clients. They do a lot of weddings, so that's kind of what we're at. So,
Well, thank you.
yeah.
And then Kristen, you're not a newbie.
I am not.
You
It
have
has
been
been
here.
a while,
It has
though. It's been about a year now.
Okay, so tell us what it was like your last time being here, and what is that you've done, and kind of why you're back today.
So last year I came and I explained to you what I was going to do for Art Prize before I went to Art Prize. So now I want to kind of update you what has happened since. And it was a huge success. So I made top 20 in my category. So yay! Not bad for first time at Art Prize, right? But the whole purpose was to bring awareness to different stigmas. And all of my models overcame a different trauma or tragedy, domestic violence, PTSD, anorexia, child sexual abuse, so 18 days of different traumas.
Okay.
So it was really beautiful because the models got painted on their body their story. So they were able to embody their story, but also wash it off at the end as well. So, and we also had people from the crowd sharing their stories of pain and overcoming different traumas as well. So there wasn't a dry eye any day. So, but it just ended up being a more beautiful, meaningful project than I could ever imagine. And so after I was done at Art Prize, it's like, how can I do this? How can I continue? How can I keep reaching out to others? So through that, I did my own healing. I was in an abusive relationship as well. So through this project, I found healing. I also was able to do the healing through body art over in the UK. So I took it over there. World traveler with it.
Let the UK see what
Yes, yes. So I went and did the healing through body art over in the UK, and also learned different energy type of healings as well. I became a Reiki 1 practitioner.
And what does that mean?
It's energy healing.
Okay.
So I learned how to do that, and I'm able now to incorporate it in what I'm doing with the healing through body art. So other different healing methods as well. So with that, I put together an 8-week course that is all about healing. It is about rewriting your story and embodying your story, so they get to get body painted throughout the process as well. So anyone else who has overcome a different trauma or tragedy can participate in this. So I'm taking it out to the public, and I'm starting on October 22nd. I'm gonna start my first round of course, so I'm really excited for that.
And both of you use completely different canvases.
Yes.
Definitely.
So who would like to kind of start us off on the canvases that you use and why?
Do you want to go first and I'll
Sure,
follow?
I can.
Okay.
Well, you know, I used to paint on canvas, and stretch canvas, and enjoyed that. But again, I run across a friend, another artist, that was painting on plastic. And I just fell in love with that. I can buy it cheaper than I can buy canvas to start with. I can cut it to any size because you buy it in a 4x8 sheet. So you can make any size canvas, any shape of canvas you care to have. And it's about 1/4 inch thick, 6 millimeter. But that gives me a very, very smooth surface to paint on. And I can cut in and get some very sharp lines and some really great art and 3-dimensional effect, because I can really work that on that smooth surface, where canvas got all those little pores and you got to fill those, or you got little white dots or some other color showing through, and it just makes it what do I want to say, you can't get a sharp edge on something. And a lot of my work is, I like to paint glass, not on glass, but glasses, glass paintings, metal reflections type stuff, fruit, flowers. So I'm a still life, basically. I do some wildlife just for the fun of it, to break the monotony of doing the same art over and over. So, and I do it differently than a lot of people today to paint. They like to squeeze the tube and there's the paint, and I'm going to apply that to the canvas. I'm a great believer in mixing color. The other thing is, I go back to about the 1300s. The masters there used egg tempera, which is egg yolk and chalk. And they would do their painting with that. So that ended up with a black and white painting for them, and they mixed the chalk and charcoal together so they could get all the different grays. And once everything was right, nobody's eyes was cross-eyed, or the arms were too long, or whatever you find as your painting, that they could make those corrections. And egg tempera is very easy to use and cover up what's underneath. So you could go back and repaint that. Then they would get out the expensive paint. And it was expensive because they had to make their own. They literally had to grind their own pigment up. And so you really don't, then you had to be a chemist as well as an artist to make your own paint so that it would last. But so I go back now in this piece of art here, I don't know if it's not right on the screen now, but if you've noticed in the upper left hand corner, yeah, left to you, is my first black and white that I start on, and then I just keep working down in the lower right hand corner is the finished canvas in color. So that is, yeah, now you can see it there.
Okay.
It makes it a lot easier. I can do production faster. I can get it out. I don't have to wait for it to dry, because when I get the black and white is acrylic for me, because I don't like rotten egg smell. Then I just glaze on my colors, and by glazing on, I mean I put it on by layer. And some of the reds sometimes will take as many as 10 to 12 coats, because you got a white and you put red on it, you got to get pink, because you're literally seeing through that paint. And so it comes back to as a true color rather than a reflected color. And so my paintings seem to jump off the wall at some people. It's easy to spot them because they're so clean and looking, and it's very simple. They look like stained glass.
Can we
window.
look at some of your artwork?
Sure.
And you can kind of talk us through what it is that we are seeing, please? So we'll, okay?
Okay. There's
Where'd you go?
I'm in the mailbox. They're going to ship me to the UK.
Okay. This is, like I was saying, taking something that you see every day
Okay.
and making it something beauty. Is a simple mailbox. It was down the road. The flowers was naturally growing up there, and I came around the corner. It's the first mailbox out on our street. And I seen that, I was, whoops, and I took a picture, and I got to paint this. And so that's where that has come. But all my paintings are done in this same process. So this all started in black and white.
Oh, okay.
And then I glaze those colors on and build the colors. And sometimes one glazing is enough, and sometimes, it has too green. I got to add a little blue to it to darken it or something. And I really play with the color wheel in my art. So, and there. Now this is, goes back to the old painters, the masters, type of style of painting. It just is enjoyable to create that and blend the colors. Even blending, as you see in the background, has got a blend to it. And that is actually just a 8 by 10 piece. It's very small for me. Colors, and so this is, again, now you can see how I like sharp. This happens to be on canvas because this is a rather old piece, but I really had to work hard to get those sharp edges on that canvas and work them up, and then you got to pay attention to the reflections and what do you see. And as you're painting, you've got to say, what do I see? Not what I think I see. You got to analyze, what do I see? And that's one of the things I try to impress upon my students. And I have many students get upset with me. After a 10-week course, they will say, you were right, we don't like you. Because we no longer see a pretty girl or a pretty sunset or a pretty flower. Now we see colors, shapes, and they're seeing things rather than looking at something. And again, here's the glass work, like I was saying, that I like to do. This was done on our patio, four-season room. And the glass is actually supposed to be greener. I don't know why it's not, but you can see all the different reflections from all the different places around. It was just a kind of orange-yellow piece of cloth that they were sitting on. And I just folded up. And now, I take artist license and push colors beyond what I actually are. And now here's another one of my ones that I kind of like. And I say white is never white. Black is never black. In fact, I tell my students, don't bother to buy black. Don't do it. You're going to waste it because I'm not going to let you use it anyway. White, yeah, you got to use white because you can put some other colors with it. But as you can see there's a lot of beiges and stuff in those white flowers. And yet you see white flowers. But if I just left those white, they would be flat and no shape to them. So we go back to where we talk about shadows. On everything has a shadow. And if you keep that in the back of your mind, whenever you're painting, everything has a shadow, and all of a sudden, as soon as you put a shadow on it, it sits down on the canvas, whatever you're painting. It's an optical illusion. Here's again just a bunch of red peppers, just happened to catch my eye in the kitchen there, and took the picture, and then I work from pictures. I blow them up to full size that I want to work at, and then I turn around and, turn around and paint from those. Well, it's much easier to work from a full-size drawing than it is trying to take a 4x6 snapshot or something and draw it up by 11x16 or something. It's impossible. This one surprised me even. The canner was really beautiful and transparent. Through the vase part, the bottom is really blue, the top of it was really dark blue. And I says, well, I'll try. And don't ask me how I did it, because I really don't know. Well, that's why I said it surprised me. It really came out great. But if you look, and if you have paid attention to the photographs that I've had up there, I really, like I said, use the color wheel. I use the opposite as colors to help mine out. The complementary color is, if anybody's familiar with the color wheel, the complementary color is straight across from it. So if you got red, the complementary is green. And what's the favorite colors for Christmas? Red and green. They just help each other, and it works great. So you just use that and kind of keep that in the back of your mind and use it. And your paintings will come out much better than trying to make them exactly as they were. You got to be able to say, well, that's not quite the right color. I need to change that a little bit, and do so. And it worked.
Kristen, and then your canvas.
My canvas can move.
So kind of explain your thoughts of how you go about putting your art pieces together.
Well, it's interesting because with every person it is different. I have to work with the curves of the face or the body depending on what I'm doing. I do a lot of children's face painting and events for that as well. So everybody has a different hairline. Everybody has different eye shapes, different cheeks, you know, so I have to work with what I have. And so something I might do a butterfly on you and then do a butterfly on your best friend, and they look totally different because I'm working with your face. So yeah, and with the children, they move quite a bit. I have started to do a little more just canvas painting as well, which I've just realized is just totally different when they're not wiggling on you. It's just a different world. But I absolutely love it because I find it to be challenging. On a body, I might be doing a circle, but because of the curves of the body, I'm not actually painting a circle to get the circle. So that's how it ends up being a little different as well.
You have one of your art pieces here with us.
I do.
Can you kind of talk us through your beautiful Rachel?
My beautiful Rachel. So we did kind of like a night sky with a moon there as well. And I did a combination of airbrush and hand painting. The airbrush, I do use hybrids and alcohol-based paint, so they tend to stay on a lot better. So when I have a model that moves around a lot or has to get from point A to point B, for it to last through the photo shoots, that's what I have to do. And if you ask Rachel, it's fun to get off, huh? So it's a combination of things with my work, since they are water-based paints. I do have to be careful when I layer my work. Like, you can layer your colors quite easily.
Right.
I layer my colors, I get the background color that I'm working with, which if I do it intentionally, turns out great. If I don't, so like right in through here, there's different pinks and purples and stuff like that. I actually just did a pink and a blue to get the purple effect in there as well, and just layered the colors. So. But if I do that too much, I might end up picking up the color behind it. So
That's why I don't like watercolors.
You like to be able to layer it up.
Yes, yeah, you got to cover it up.
Yes. So with mine, if I have a mishap, I'm able to use maybe like a baby wipe or something like that to go in and correct. As opposed to layering to do a correction.
We have some of your other pieces that we can showcase, and you can kind of talk us through what it was that you did on your other artists or your other canvases.
Okay.
Do you call your models canvases?
My canvases, my models.
Can we see some of her other artwork, please?
So that's actually Rachel right there. That's an action shot. That was of Art Prize. That was the first day of Art Prize. It was You're Not a Statistic, hence why I did the one butterfly that is a different color than the blue butterflies.
Okay.
So that was day one of Art Prize. This one was Autumn. This was a piece that we named You're Not Alone. She dealt with several of the different traumas and tragedies. So this was actually the last day of Art Prize. So you got the first and the last day right there.
Is there a bubble?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Isn't that a cool picture?
I love that.
That one I got published in Skin Marks magazines, which is a face and body painting magazine.
Okay.
This one was LGTB. This is overcoming being a lesbian and outing yourself. She said every time that she told someone, she had to come out every single time. So it's coming out with every single person that you meet. This was overcoming anorexia. So Sarah is my flower child, and it just represents her and the growth afterwards. This was Jesse. This was actually an interesting case at Art Prize. He wasn't in the original roster. He was coming through the exhibit, and he told me that he had his own story. At the time, I was already booked, and I asked him, I gave him my information and told him, reach out to me, so if somebody falls out, I can contact you. And I had that happen, and I got a hold of Jesse, and he said, yeah, I can do it. And with him, his mother actually committed suicide, so it was coming to peace with that. So all those pieces that are on him are actually his mom's tattoos that he had photographs of that I painted on his body. So that was a really special one for him. So, and then this is overcoming PTSD and representing different people in service that have overcome that as well. So we did a lot of fun things at Art Prize. And then this is our piece today, which looks really awesome. So there's a nice picture of Rachel.
Can you kind of explain, there's what's going on kind of from top to bottom? She's actually painted on her backside as well, so it's not just a front painting. Can you kind of talk us through what it is that we're seeing on her? Because you kind of talked about the art, but there's trees and other stuff that maybe a little bit you can describe or explain to us.
Right, and then these are just the northern lights, and then I've got the trees in the background here, and then I have the shooting stars with the moon and whatnot. So we just kind of wanted to create that galaxy effect as well with the different colors.
How long does it take to go from start to finish on a person?
It can vary, so it depends on what the project is and how much detail I put into it. This one was a nice quick one because I'm able to lay down the background of this particular one very quickly, whereas opposed to maybe something that I have different items in the painting, I may have to give more detail work to. So they can take anywhere between, I'd like to say 4 to 10 hours, depending on what I'm doing.
Rachel, what would you recommend for somebody who's getting ready to go through this process? What some recommendations would you tell them they should or should not do before they get painted?
Definitely stay hydrated throughout the entire process. Before you even get down to painting, definitely have a larger meal beforehand, because there's not a lot of time. Kristen, of course, she's amazing. She always makes sure I'm 100% comfortable. She always gives me breaks for drinks and snacks if I need it. She is wonderful to work with. So wonderful to work with. But yeah, definitely eat and stay hydrated are the two main things.
when you are deciding to be painted, what are some thoughts that a person kind of goes into, because it's therapy? This is not just, or it can be, hey, I just
Yes.
feel like being painted, you know, put some smiley faces on me. But for a lot of your families that are going through this, they're being painted for a reason.
Right. So my process is I'll go actually over their story with them. So we'll take some time to sit down and we'll talk about their story. We'll talk about things that help them maybe overcome what they went through, things that represented it. And then we start talking about maybe if there's a certain place where they want to put things because maybe it represents something. Like with Jesse's tattoos, some of them were in certain spots, so we put them there as well. So after I get an idea of what they want, it's just putting it all together so it's cohesive, because a lot of times it might be, I want this piece and this piece and this piece. Okay, so well, how do I make the dragon and the puppy and the glass of wine all fit together? So it can be tricky figuring out where everything's gonna go, but I make sure that I incorporate what represents them and their story.
Is there anything for you? We were kind of talking about the healing process and how art itself can be a healing process. Can you talk about that?
Yes, I have in the past had a military person that was fighting his emotions, and I offered him the class. He'd just come. And he came in for about 4 times, and he said, I can't do this. And I, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to help you. But he just couldn't do something. So that's how bad he was feeling for what had been going on. And I've also helped some other females that have been under stress from family problems. And again, I offer those at no cost to those people, because I know my art has helped me through many different little problems that I've had, and what they have is much more than what I do, and it's a way of escaping and losing that, what's in the back of your mind eating at you. You don't think about it. You're only using the front of your mind trying to create this, and that gives you 2 hours of respite.
Yeah, it really puts you in the moment, doesn't
yeah,
it?
Yeah, you're away from everything.
Yeah.
Everything else is gone, and you can get really into it. So I really would like to help people that are in need that way. I'm a veteran myself, and I also have been helping children with autism that has come in, and it is so, I don't know, to watch somebody that comes in and they start to improve, and they go get better. Well, my 92-year-old student that had Alzheimer's creeping up on her, and it was getting to the point that she couldn't do anything, and she couldn't remember 5 minutes. She was with me for 2 seasons, or 40 hours of class, and her daughter came in and says, "You don't believe. I don't believe the difference in my mother. She has improved. She can remember things. She is doing things that she no longer used to do," and she put it all on the class. And so that really patted me on the back. I felt really good. I thought I was just helping her get through things, and yet it had improved her life and it extended her life in a more friendly atmosphere with her siblings or with her other children and stuff and family.
It makes sense because you use different parts of your brain while you're doing it.
Right.
So then she's getting that exercise and using those different parts.
Right.
In order to help her memory.
Right. Yeah. It just so, if somebody's having a problem but can't afford it, come see me anyway. That's the way I feel. It just to do it. Now, our classes will be, this semester's underway, and I've talked with the other instructor, and both of us said if you want to start Tuesday or Wednesday of this next week, we will charge you only $90 instead of $150, because there's only 6 more lessons to go. And the way we teach are one-on-one. Everybody's doing their own subject and their own medium that they're using, and we just float and help whoever needs help. And so you can start anywhere in the class, but so if you need some help or like to get back into painting or something, please do call and get a hold of me and go from there. We'll gladly accept people back into the class there.
Both of you offer art as a way of healing and as a way of therapy. In here, I have recently experienced a very close friend of mine's sister passed away because of domestic violence. It was a trauma, it was a murder. And there is a woman now who's no longer with us. She's no longer able to be a mother. She's no longer able to be a sister. She's no longer able to be a friend because she did not get out. She did not get the help. She did not have, the resources may have been available, but she did not hold on to those resources. And we can look at her picture. And now this is Claudine and both of her children. I won't name their names. But she's no longer with us. She recently, this year, actually about a month ago, was brutally murdered due to domestic violence. Domestic violence, sexual assault, and abuse is real. The people who you are working with are survivors. These are people who are able to have gotten out and now able to cope and to be able to heal. Get out. If you are in a dangerous relationship, tomorrow may not be there. And I want you to see what the face of domestic violence can look like. Claudine is no longer here with us, and her children no longer have a mother. Her sister no longer has a sister. Her brother no longer has a brother. What you see here is her memorial. And this is Claudine and her sister, Karen, when they were young children. And I just want us to just look at the fact that if you are experiencing domestic violence or sexual assault, if you know someone who's experienced it, or if you believe that somebody is, offer the help. You know, offer the resources. You know, we have the YWCA here in Kalamazoo. I don't know in the Paw Paw area where people can go for help. You see her obituary. This is real. Tomorrow was not there for her. She is a 36-year-old, 37-year-old lady, and she's not here because she was not able to get away from her attacker on that day. So I want us to really take these issues seriously. You know, we see the beautiful artwork from what they can become, but I want us to realize why it's important that we take the steps that we can to get away. And as a child, some children can't get away, but they can speak up. They can tell a teacher, they can tell a friend, they can tell someone that is safe. And so, as you'll see throughout my show, I'll also have some information for Claudine, for her GoFundMe page, for her family, for her children, for her sisters, her mother, so that they will be able to give her rest, because tomorrow wasn't promised, and people sometimes think that, oh, we got plenty of time. Oh, we'll pass away when we're 90. We'll pass away when we are 100. We don't know how our tomorrow is going to be. We don't know if we're going to wake up. We don't know if it's going to be from a tragedy like hers was she attacked. I'm sure when she went to bed and woke up that morning, she did not know that she would not see the next day or her son or her daughter ever again.
And as somebody who's survived domestic violence, I think a lot of it is that we think that we can handle it ourselves, and so we don't seek the help that we need.
Right.
And things can escalate a lot quicker than you could even imagine. So take that chance and talk to someone,
Right.
anyone. Yeah.
There is a lot of help in Paw Paw area. There are help, and I can't think of them right off the top of my head, for domestic violence. There's a group. There's also the Van Buren County Mental Health Department. You can go to them, and they'll definitely put you in touch with somebody. Senior citizens, they have even a free counseling for senior citizens that are going through mental problems. So there are a lot of places, and I'm going to say you can get a hold of me as well, and I'll go to work, try to find what you need, because we've been through it.
And myself as well. I do my best to be a resource, and I know some other advocacies and other resources for families to help. I think one of the biggest thing that I found was a problem even before her tragedy had occurred is for women sometimes, I feel like some ladies don't have the financial means to leave. You know, they don't want to be with this person, but they're afraid that they can't afford to leave them. They don't have a first month security deposit. They don't have, even if they have education, even if they have income.
Or they don't have a car if they leave, or they won't have the, you know, there could be a lot of stipulations for it.
And that should not be a situation or a case. There is so much money that we spend. There's so many nonprofit organizations, and that's a worthy cause. And I think that one of the things that we had talked about is sometimes women, not sometimes, often, 57% of women retire with less income than men do. So that means that right now in your day-to-day life, we often as women have less income than men at 57% of our income compared to a male's income. Well, with that being said, women can sometimes be economically disadvantaged. And with those economic disadvantages, and there is no nonprofit organization say, hey, here's a new start. And you almost have to become completely impoverished. You know, if you go through the YWCA, that's almost poverty, you know, because now you're having to live in conditions where you might have lived in a middle class. You might have had a home. You might have had, you know, all of these luxuries of life, being with someone who maybe not even just physically abusive, but emotionally abusive, sexually abusive, or even just a cheater.
Right.
You know, that's still an emotional abuse if you're with somebody who's cheating, because with today's society, with HIV and AIDS and other STDs and diseases, cheating can cost you your life. Because of the decision that someone else has made, and you should be able to have the option and the financial stability to say, I don't want to be involved in this anymore. You don't deserve to hurt me, and I shouldn't have to be tied to you only because of the finances.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got to put it your dollar sign and your life. That's what we got to look at. If you're going to look at the dollar sign, you may not have a life anymore. You may lose it all anyway. So why not look at saving yourself and work your way back? It's possible. It's not hard. Like you said, there's a lot of places out here that are set up to help you and get you and make you disappear if that's necessary. But you're still alive. You're still moving on. And I don't believe I have a hard time believing God has said it's the end of your day. You've got to be murdered by your husband. That's hard for me to buy now. And so you've got to move on.
Got to break the cycle.
Break that
That's
cycle.
what
And
it
it is.
ends up becoming. It's just a cycle.
It is
You
a
do
cycle.
The same thing.
I see where abusive families and the kids come up and they go right into the same type of abusive family, creating their own abusive family later in life. And it's just, you got to break it. You're right. You got to break it. Who's going to break the cycle? And you can be that person to break that cycle.
Do it for your family.
Or your family. Your
You
kids
know,
down
do
the
it,
road,
yeah.
they don't know anything different. And so they accept that as natural. The husband can be abusive. Oh, no, he can't. It's not the way it's supposed to work. You know, yeah, you look through the Bible and it tells you.
Love does not hurt.
Right, love cannot hurt.
Love is not black eyes, broken bones.
No, there's just no way that can be.
I don't literally love you to death.
No.
That's not, it's not, and it's so real.
Right.
You know, and if you're thinking about, well, I'm okay and I can handle it, well, think about your children. Think about your mother. Think about your family that will hurt without you. You know, do it selflessly, selfish for them. You know, do it for them, even if you don't think that you're doing it for yourself, even if you don't feel like you're worthy, or even if you don't think anybody else will love you again the same way. Do it for them. Like, don't put them through having to put you to rest, because that is a hard situation. Your family is in the industry. Yeah. So, you know, you've seen.
Oh yeah. And even with we've seen domestic violence, we've seen suicides of all ages, you know, it's.
Your family owns a funeral home.
Yeah.
So that's why you've seen, you know, what they end up to you.
Yeah.
You know, and
the hurt and pain it causes everyone else, you know.
You know, you can almost honor somebody passing away at 100.
Yeah.
You hurt, you cry, but you say, you know what, God bless it, they seen 100 years. But when somebody's 30, 20, 18.
17, 18, no. Just think of all the things that they could be, could have been, what they could have invented for better life for everybody. It's not there. They're gone. No. So,
I think what's, after you leave that, you have an opportunity to go through the healing process,
Yeah.
which is a hard process, but it is a very beautiful process as well.
As we see, healing can be beautiful. And your testimony to help somebody else, will save their life. Because it's about saving lives, The artwork is beautiful, but it's truly the next life.
For me, I'm just a couple of steps ahead of somebody else who's in that situation. So for me, it's just holding my hand behind me and saying, come on into this journey.
Can we see Claudine's pictures and her GoFundMe information again? Again, this is someone who was not able to survive her domestic assault. And her children, beautiful babies, will not see Christmas with them, with mom. See another birthday with mom. So think about this. If you are a mother or a sister, or a cousin, an aunt, a friend, we don't want this to be you. We don't want to do a ceremony for you. We don't want to have to create an obituary for you. Your family doesn't want to create an obituary for you. No one wants to see you go through this. We don't want to. So please take help. Go to a neighbor, go to a friend, call 211, go get a bus ticket, go somewhere. Save yourself to help save your family the hurt and pain. All else can be repaired. We can find other ways, and we can find resources, and there's ways that we can help you to get back on your feet if you have to step away from your home. Because we know that that's sometimes why people are afraid to go. And then there's some reasons other besides just the money.
well, I would like to get back and mention our auction and fundraiser coming up again.
Yes.
It is our only source of income other than classes. 20% of your dollars that you give to the class goes to the association. I'm sorry, rent and electric utilities all add up. And if we don't continue to pay them, we aren't going to be there. And we're not going to be able to offer these assistances that we need. So it's a great evening. This is our third year of doing it. I think we've got all the bugs out of the program to make it better. Live music, a good meal, and a lot of fun, and some really nice artwork to help that you go home with, rather than just handing us the dollar. We'll take the dollars, don't get me wrong. But at least for your dollars, you're getting something back, other than helping to support us. And that is just, we want the Art Association and Pawpaw to be a destination place, not just a place you happen to stop at. We have, we've been established, we've been around a long time, and I think we need to continue to be there to improve Southwest Michigan area so we do have artists, we're about 50 members, and like every organization, 20% does the work. So if you're thinking about joining us or doing something, we do have members that are non-artists. Dues are $45 a year, of which doesn't break anybody, I hope. And come in, and we meet on the first Thursday at 7 o'clock of the month, and be welcomed in.
And then your organization.
And then I'm excited about my first course starting October 22nd. So anyone who's dealt with a trauma or tragedy that's going through the healing, we're going through the healing process. Even if you've overcome the healing process, you're still going through the motions. And so, like I said, this is not just you get the body painting in the process, but you do actually get a healing course and different tools to help you overcome. So it's really exciting.
And they can reach you how?
You can email me at kfxbodyart@yahoo.com, or you can go ahead and reach out to me, kfxbodyart.com, as well as my website, or they can call the number as well that will be on the screen.
Are there any shout outs that either one of you would like to give to anyone before we get ready to head out tonight?
I'm taken back and surprised about some of the subject matter. I was going to be talking about my art. I knew the body art was going to be there, but the other part I did not know about until tonight, and I'm mighty glad that you brought it up.
Thank you.
Because it is a way of expressing and been there, know the feeling of being lost. It is extremely gratifying to know somebody else realizes that there are people out there that need help. And don't be afraid because you think you might need help, or I don't know if I do, or I don't know if I don't. Check into it anyway. Even don't put it off. Just check into getting some help somewhere. And like I said, we'll gladly take anybody that needs that respite time. If they're dealing with Alzheimer's, or a spouse with Alzheimer's, or whatever else is going on, and you need that time for yourself, feel free to come to the class. I've had good experience with people, and also with my autism children that come into my class. They're really improved, and it's so grateful or gratifying to see that people come out and be better than what they were when they first walked through the door.
Well, I've been super lucky because I've had a lot of wonderful, supportive people throughout the whole process. I want to thank Rachel for coming out here with me, and then my photographer Josh that has been helping. He's rolling his eyes at me right now. But I've also had a really great support team. Ashley Carter Youngblood helped me with my Art Prize project. She's a therapist. I have 2 coaches that I've been working with that helped me with putting this healing course together as well. So I've had a really great support system, and with this, it's a lot of self-care is involved, and so the support is very helpful to make sure that I am on my A game so I can be there for others.
And is there anything you would like to say or add or encourage anybody?
Again, repeating what all of you have said, is just seek the help. Both of these wonderful artists are here as just a testimony that there is help out there.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Kristen, for being such a wonderful friend and such an easy person to work with when it comes to this.
Thank you.
And I would like to say before we end tonight is please keep the family in prayer, and we can see the family again, and we can put her information up if you have a pencil and paper and you would like to be able to follow the story that I've been mentioning about Claudine today. You can see her story a little bit. I mean, right now her case is still in trial. It's really at the beginning stages of trial. So my goodness, it's not over. It's not just that you passed, but now the family have to now address your attacker. And so now the family's having to relive this process all over again. And so please keep them in prayer. Keep her children in prayer, her family, her sister, who's now having to be the guardian of her children. Who's been her guardian, who's been a loving, supportive role for the children always to begin with, but thinking one day mom would be able to have a long life with her family. So this is her again. You'll be able to go on her GoFundMe page. It has her information on there, and you can see her story in great detail. I'd rather not, talk about the details of her story. You can see it on her website. You can see it on her GoFundMe page, and they'll talk about the domestic violence, and they'll talk about how she got here and what her life was before she left us prematurely. So God bless you all. Please seek the help. Please seek the healing.
Yeah.
Realize that there is healing after the help. Help your family, help your friends, and I pray that this show is encouraging to you. We will actually go through again and show you more of the artwork and more of the pieces of our artists so that you can kind of showcase. We'll kind of go back between still canvas and body canvas, so we can go through and see that again. So yeah. So if you are looking and want to know the story of Claudine, you will be able to continually show the information for the GoFundMe page. Thank you to my producers, Bill and Leon and Public Media Network. I love you always and your support, and for everybody for being here. So we'll go ahead and we'll look at some more pictures, and we'll put the information for Claudine and her family and her GoFundMe page up again. If people are interested and want to know more about her and her story and her tragedy, we don't have another victim. My goal is, Lord, please bless it. We don't have another victim. We don't have another tragedy. So can we please see a couple more? We can see the art pieces again, and we can kind of enjoy each other's artwork.
What's my number up there?
Your phone number? Oh, sure, we can tell your number.
Again, I just didn't notice it before. That's all.
Okay, here's your beautiful canvas.
Yeah.
Here, again, Miss Rachel. This is today's piece.
Is that all we're getting? It's really great.
Yeah.
I know those colors are popping so well in
Now,
the lighting.
now those colors on her are much stronger there on the television than she is in life. And some of the other ones I've noticed really strong with that as well. That they're just showing up stronger than they actually do on life.
Once you get the right lighting.
Yeah.
Right background and the right lighting.
So, yeah, these are some of my favorites. No.
Me again?
Yeah, that one's hanging in our kitchen along with the pears.
It's so interesting that you continuously find such beautiful art just in everyday life.
Everyday life.
That's really
That's
nice.
my goal, is to find beautiful things and make them there, make them what do I call recognizable, make people aware of them.
Yeah, very touching.
Yeah. It just so many things. It's a beautiful sky at night. Sometimes it just the cloud formations, the sun shining on them, the waves breaking against the beach. Some of those are very hard to duplicate. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I
But
couldn't even start.
yeah.
It's amazing
Yeah.
work.
But when things are still, and it's not that hard to do, and working from photographs and blowing them up to full size, the size that you're going to work at, whatever they are, your canvas size, and get them up to there. So
Can you tell us your phone number and your information?
my phone number is area code 269-615-3143, and feel free to give me a call for the auction or to come into class, or let me know that you can come to class without cost. Just got to get to Papa on Wednesday.
Give us your number one more time, because we have your website.
Number one more time, 615-3143, and we're at 111 South Kalamazoo in Pawpaw.
Okay, and they can also reach you at your website?
Yeah, that website there. Nope, that one's gone. I'm sorry. They just changed that.
Oh no!
Yeah, and so now it's smaa-art.org.
Okay, so they have to.
If you go without the MI in it from Michigan is what they had, and they said, we don't like that. It's not telling people enough about, by putting art in there. If you just was SMAA, you end up with a private school in California.
Okay.
So that didn't work. But do give us a call, do stop in and talk with us. It's a lot of fun.
And we'll talk with you, and can we get the information for Claudine again and the GoFundMe page so you can get a chance to see? So go ahead and give your information as well.
Okay, again, I'm Kristen Adams with KFX Body Art. My phone number for that is 269-501-1451. My website is kfxbodyart.com, and you can email me at kfxbodyart@yahoo.com.
And can we see Claudine's picture again, and we can go ahead and have the last few moments of silence for her, and rest in peace, Claudine.